Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Geek Talk. My name is Sabrina Lowery, and I am known as the Tech Evangelist. And this is a podcast where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. And this is a very special and timely episode as we wrap up our celebration of Black History Month. And with that, we want to always be mindful. We want to always pay homage to those of our ancestors before us. And we also want to celebrate all the milestones that we have accomplished year over year, generation over generation. So, tonight's topic is all about wellness and the wellness journey, not just in business, but we've got to take that offline personally. So, with that, we have a very special guest with us this evening, and I am so thankful to bring all of my live streamers into the broadcast. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you have questions or comments along the broadcast for our guests, be sure to pop that into the comments. So, this podcast, after our live stream tonight, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will be able to catch the replay on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. And don't forget YouTube, because we are streaming live right now on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in. We've got live streamers straight in from North Carolina. And so we thank you so much for being here and tuning in. We've got ATL in the house. We're coming all the way from Georgia. We've got some of the snowbirds, as I like to call them, blizzard in the Northeast. And we want to pray for your safety, that all power is restored, and that you are warm and cozy while you overcome this little winter storm. This too shall pass, right? So with that being said, let me introduce our guest and bring her into the broadcast. So I would like to introduce everyone to Katurah A. Bryant, an extensive experienced substance abuse and psychiatric triage nurse, highly developed skills in individual and group therapy facilitation, expertise in administration and clinical supervision. She has developed and facilitated training in the space of diversity, substance abuse protocols on service delivery, loss, trauma, and grief. She has also had extensive experience in program development, utilizing total quality management techniques, leadership, management development, and so much more. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce to the broadcast Katurah Bryant. Let's bring her in.
Well, peace and blessings. I am so honored to be here tonight. Thank you so much, Sabrina. It has been a journey. So thank you. I am one of those individuals that is in the Northeast. And I was saying earlier, at 5:30, they decided to plow my driveway of the 2 feet of snow. So yes,
Yeah.
it's rough.
Yes, yes, yes. And so we have a very special guest here. Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting your sister Katurah. We always appreciate our sister friends,
Yeah.
right? So, Katurah, why don't you tell the people a little bit about what you do and who you do it for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think the easiest part for me is to talk about who I do it for. I do it for you. I do it for my clients. I do it for humanity. And how did I get here? I think I've always been a helper. I've always known that I was a healer at some level of my life. I was People always would gravitate to me, my friends or whatever, for consultation. I come from multiple generations of healers, beginning with my great great grandmother, 5 generations before me, who was a Native woman out of Mississippi. And she was a medicine woman. Her daughter, my grandmother, my great grandmother, fondly called her Mama T. She was, I would say, an herbologist because she would heal with herbs. People would come to the house and she would give them little sacks of herbs. And we had, when I was growing up in Nashville, Tennessee, until I was age 7, we had no grass, but we had all of this greenery growing around the periphery of the yard. And my great grandfather would sweep the dirt, which I came to understand is a West African tradition. And then my grandmother, Lenola Pierce Woodard, she was a beautician. She was a hairdresser, a master beautician, and she was an entrepreneur, and she ran the Beautyland Beauty Shop on Jefferson Street in Nashville. And I remember going there when I was very young with my cousins. I think it was to give my great grandmother a break from all the kids at the house. And then my mother, who was also a nurse, and she served in the ICU at the VA hospital. And I commend her for her service, and I thank those veterans for their service as well. And then when it came time for me, I ventured into the field of nursing, which I'm glad that I did. And nursing really permeates everything that I do, even to this day. And I went to the University of Connecticut for my bachelor's in nursing. It was an interesting experience, but it was one that really kind of set the foundation around academia and things like that. And I recognize, still carrying all of this family wisdom, that it was much more than just the Western view of medicine. So I went to work in a number of different fields, but I was drawn to the field of psychiatry and addiction, and that's what I made my career in. And I discovered that people would come to see me for 3 primary reasons. One was a loss in their life, whether it was a loss of home, or a loss of innocence, or a loss of their sense of direction. They would also come to me for traumas, and and the active addiction life oftentimes led them into spaces where it was very traumatic for them, as well as just life in general, some of their life experiences. And I come to understand that it really was about unresolved grief. And so I loved the work that I do, and I continue to love the work that I do. And I've kind of expanded it, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But um, so that is really who I am. I'm a mother of 3 adult, fabulous children who have given me 8 magnificent grandchildren. And I'm a retiree from the state of Connecticut Department of Mental Health. I was a assistant director at the Substance Abuse Treatment Unit in New Haven, Connecticut, which is part of Yale University.
That is fantastic, Katurah. I absolutely admire you, all the work that you have done along your journey. And when you talk about something that people can't find on Google about you, what's your
Mhm.
superpower, Katurah?
My superpower, I believe, is my ancestral energy. And I say that because I believe that when I talk about the ZOLA experience, which is the nonprofit that I currently am developing and running, I was given the tenets of the ZOLA method in utero through my mother. My mother was a single parent, and she went through each of those stages. She was surrounded by family. She had to figure out what was she going to do as a single mother. She dealt with her anger. She dealt with all of these things, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail when I talk about the Zola method. But while she was pregnant with me, she went through all of those things, and it took me to go to Thailand and bathe myself in the Adanian Sea. And I always, whenever I travel, I always go to the beach, and I also go to big water. And I asked and I pay homage to the ancestors because I know their souls are in that water. And I asked them to please give me some insight and guidance around what I was doing. And that is what came to me that summer when I was in Thailand. And it was remarkable. And I talk about that often because that was an experience that people would say, how connected it, how did you come up with ZOLA? And I would say it was part of my DNA.
Oh, I love that so much. That's deep. Clip that, okay? I want to now go back. Let's go all the way back. Let's
Okay.
go back to pre Zola,
Okay.
Katurah 1.0, not
Mm,
Katurah 2.0.
okay. Woo, girl.
Let's go back.
Well, let's go back. This little black girl grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, with a very loving and warm and safe environment. My parents, my mom married when I was 2 years old to my dad. Um, and they went away to school. He went away to school. She went with them. They were gone. So I was really from age 2 to age 7. I didn't really even know. Only thing I knew was Nashville. And then at age 7, I experienced what we call in Zola my first lost love object. I was transported from Nashville to Seattle, and it was a whole different experience. It was, uh, you know, from a homogeneous black community to a homogeneous white community. We were the only black family in this town, so that was an education and an experience in and of itself. And we moved around a lot. We moved from Seattle to Huntsville, Alabama. My dad at that time, Carson Bryant, he was a one of those hidden figures that was working on the space program in Huntsville at the Redstone Arsenal. And then we moved to Iowa because he left Boeing and he went to Iowa. And we lived in Iowa for a couple of years, about 2.5 years. Then we went to Massachusetts and stayed in Massachusetts, went to Lexington High School, graduated from there, was a cheerleader, and all of those kind of things. So that was me prior to UConn, prior to that experience, and definitely prior to Zola. But all of those experiences that I had were stepping stones. And I say that I have probably experienced almost every loss that someone could experience up until this time. I've lost my health at some point in time. I've lost a baby at one point in time. I've lost, uh, close relatives from tragic loss. I lost cousins in a house fire. So all of those experiences, I think, have led me to understand that we need to process what has happened to us. And I went to graduate school at Southern Connecticut State University for marriage and family therapy, which was a life changer for me. And one of the things that they required during that time was we had to be in therapy the entire time we were in that program to work on self. And so I am really big on the self work thing. And so that's how I got to where I am now.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so the 1.0 was just as fierce as this 2.0 version that I have grown to like and know and trust and want to do business with. So let's just pivot our conversation and we're going to go into our entrepreneurial topic of the evening, which is that wellness. And
Mhm.
when we speak about wellness, it falls under a big umbrella, Katurah. So, why don't you share with my audience what it is under the umbrella of wellness that you
Mhm.
specialize in so they may bring in some deeper conversations that resonate in the workplace that they otherwise may not have an opportunity to speak directly with a subject matter expert, a clinician, a trained professional that might give them some real gems before they leave this podcast.
Okay. So there is perhaps, for sure, there's no one on this face of this earth that will not experience a loss, A trauma. Some traumas are leave deeper scars than others. And we all are trying to figure out how do we grieve these situations in our life. And so it's so important that we do so. And when you think about what happens when an individual or a group of people do not process things that happen in their lives that are traumatic, that are major losses, and that they are not given permission to grieve. And that truly describes the African American experience. And ZOLA is a universal tool. The ZOLA method is a universal tool. It can be utilized in any setting, whether it's a work setting, i.e., an office setting. For example, I was talking to someone the other day, and they said that as the result of downsizing, their staff went from 60 to 12. And they were experiencing some things because it shifted everything. They had losses. And when I mentioned to them that the Zola method would be helpful for them, she says, "You're absolutely right." Because we've been spinning, trying to figure out how are we going to manage not only the business, but our thoughts and feelings about these people that no longer were with us. So it doesn't matter what the situation is. This universal tool that I've been given, the Zola method, can fit into it, whether it's loss of innocence, or whether it's a group of women with fibroids, or men trying to navigate parenthood. It doesn't matter. So I say my philosophy is that we have to take the time to process whatever the transition is that's happening to us at that particular time. Some transitions are looked at as very positive, and they are. And for an example, you're going from high school to college or to work or to marriage or whatever, but you're transitioning out of a space that you have grown familiar with. For the last 4 years, you were in high school and you chose to, let's say, transition to college. What does that entail? What does that mean? I know for myself, I was petrified about going to college. I asked my mother if I could take a year off. Back then, a gap year wasn't a thing, especially for people that look like me and from my community. It was not a thing. And she was like, "Girl, you done lost your mind. I suggest you keep it moving." But it was something I needed to talk to somebody about. But it was no, you're going, and that's that. But
Right.
it would have helped me in my adjustment if I had had that opportunity. So I say we have Zola Kids, where we help children navigate thoughts and feelings about I'm having a sibling, or uh, anything. Just by the mere fact that we have to have a safety drill for, and they're telling them in case somebody comes into the school. That's traumatic for our children. Do we talk to them about it? No, it's just a thing that we do. So we have Zola Kids, and then we have Zola. We designed a program for Zola adolescents so that they can begin to understand, and that is probably the most intense time of one of the most intense times of your life, is that gap between middle school and getting out of high school, and probably till about age 25, where you trying to figure out all of these things. And this society says at 18, you got to get out the house, you got to do this, you got to do that. And culturally, that isn't even our culture from the motherland, for real. That's a very Western mentality. And we need to begin to come back into our own and figure out, why are we doing this? Let's do it a different way. Maybe our children need that. And there are some cultures that never left that, So that is, yeah, that's the foundation of what we're doing,
I
and
love
why
that.
it's important that businesses as well as household, our goal is that every household and every business uses the language of Zola.
So let's pivot that conversation and bring up your website, and let's talk to the people about that shared experience, whether it be something that a group therapy, whether it's a facilitation. Talk to the community about how you would assist them with your expertise.
Okay, so we use what we call the Zola method, and it has 7 modules that are associated with it. And as our website says, our goal is to help you to process what has happened or what is happening. It also, we will give you tools to heal. There's a session 3. We talk about self care. We talk about messages that you got about self care. We give you different tools and different things that you can do that don't cost any money, that are free, that you can integrate into your families, that you can use for yourself, and that you can integrate into your community, because this is really a community minded interaction. So we go through these 7 sessions. We give you writing prompts for you to express yourself. Now you can either write it out or you can sing it. You can dance it out. You can do a number of things, but we give you that that brevity, that levity to do the thing that feels most comfortable for you. And we want people to understand that you are in control of what you self disclose, what you choose to share with the group. There is no good, bad, right, or wrong. We want you to, we try, as our facilitators are trained, we train them to be a facilitator. You are not a, they're not therapists, they're just facilitators. They facilitate the discussion, they facilitate helping you to express yourself. So, and it culminates after we talk about family, we talk about self, we talk about family, then we talk about give you a definition of loss. And that is what we call your lost love objects. And we spend a time getting you to understand that you have a myriad of losses in your life, and that your lost love objects can be, as I said earlier, it can be the loss of your mental health, your mental wellness. It can be the loss of physical health. It can be a loss of food security, which is in this day and time, that's a real thing. It can be loss of your housing security. And with the, I know in my neighborhood, the rents for that people are experiencing and the taxes, people are becoming unhoused in droves, to the point where we have children that have not lived in stable housing. They've been going from their families either couch surfing or they've gone from one apartment to the other. We talk about forgiveness and the power of forgiveness. And then we talk about you establishing a legacy for the lesson that you have learned in reference to that life experience. Life experience, every time, everything that we do in life is an experience. You learn something, and we support that, and we do that with our legacy tributes. And the last thing that we do is in our final sessions is that we celebrate. We celebrate you and your growth, your development. We celebrate you, and you form a community. You even get a name for your cohort. And so those are the kind of things that we do. And on the website, you will find that you can sign up for a ZOLA session, ZOLA circles. We usually do cohorts of at least 10. That is our goal, to do cohorts of 10. But there's a number of things that you can do. If you go on the website, you'll find out more about us, and that we offer you a number of sessions that are open to the community, that gives you a little flavor of the ZOLA experience and what it's about. And these sessions are complimentary. Um, and there, you could actually go to a free complimentary session at least once a week and begin your healing journey. And hopefully, you will join us and go through the entire ZOLA method, and then perhaps be even inspired to become a facilitator. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But I do see on the website that you saw pictures of our executive director, who is Nadir Abdul Salam. And he actually is a early childhood educator, and he and a community activist in his community. And he's the one that developed the ZOLA Kids curriculum and what we call hip hop ZOLA for our adolescents. Also, we have Hafiza Toure. She is the accountant for the ZOLA experience. And Akil Abdul Salam is our community outreach and coordinator. So we try to. Um, it really is a family. Is a family business, uh, and everybody is involved in moving forward the ZOLA experience, which I truly believe is my divine mission. It was given to me in 2020. I actually started doing it in 2012, but I was only focused on people that had a loss of a person. And the creator woke me up, the ancestors woke me up in May of 2020 and said, "You've got to do Zola again, and you've got to give it to the world." And I sat down and I wrote this book. And you can get it on Amazon or you can get it off of our website. And it really is the blueprint for what I am doing. We are also international at this point in time. We have a foundation, a non government organization in Thailand. And we have ambassadors, actually, those individuals that are facilitators, we call them ambassadors. We have an ambassador in the Philippines, and we have two ambassadors in Pretoria, South Africa.
Thank you so much for that information, Katurah. Our audience is definitely here with us, and I appreciate them so much for tuning in. We have a hello from Maryland enjoying the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Ken. We appreciate it. Please, please share this information. Katurah is a wealth of knowledge, a phenomenal resource in our community. And if you are looking to connect with her, you will be able to do so. So I would like to pivot this conversation again, and
Okay.
let's talk about the challenges. So,
Mm,
how do you balance the demands of your career and your personal life, especially when you have to deal with the trauma, the grief, and the loss
mhm,
yourself?
mhm. Well, I'm a big fan of therapy. A therapist. Sometimes we're hard to find a therapist, but I go in and out of therapy. That helps me. I have a wonderful support network. I have a couple of different sister circles. They serve different purposes in my life. I have a business oriented sister circle, I have a spiritual sister circle. I just have a sister circle that likes to travel. So I tell people that you have to have different a variety of people to surround yourself with, and they come from all walks of life. Not everybody. I mean, some of my sister circles are professional people, and some of them are just sisters that are out here doing the work, and are full of wisdom. Trust and the believe. Just because you are quote unquote professional does not necessarily mean that you have wisdom, that you may
Amen
be
to
so
that.
stuck into the academia part that you don't allow yourself that freedom. And I value those spaces for myself where I can just be who I am. I can be vulnerable. I can cry. I can do all of those things. And I like being with myself and by myself. So I carve out those times. When I was working in the field, I would take a week and go on a solo vacation. I had a timeshare at the time, so I would go to my timeshare in Newport, Rhode Island, and I would be there for the week by myself. And it was very creative time for me because I didn't have any pressures, because my job was very, very demanding. And I really didn't realize how demanding it was because I loved the work until I retired. And it was like I got home, I couldn't wake up. It was like all I wanted to do was sleep. But that was me releasing some of that stress, some of that tension. But I am an advocate of self care. I love big water. I say sun, sand, and dancing. I love to dance. I take a swing out, swing dance class every week, and that is part of my therapy. And it
Yeah.
takes me out of the realm of me sitting very still and listening to having my arms open and swinging and swirling and twirling. I love it.
I love that for you. And self care is necessary. It is part of the strategy. It is actually part of the business plan. So when
Mhm.
you're thinking about those 52 weeks in the business year, my tip is self care be scheduled. Pay yourself for the time off, right? So let me go right into a big takeaway that you would like to share with our audience, whether they're live tonight or they happen to catch us on those podcast highways after
Mm.
the fact. Let everyone know a key takeaway from tonight's conversation, whether it's celebrating Black history and celebrating their own history and journey, or whether it's that wellness tip that you truly want them to take away.
Mhm. Well, I think the number one thing that I would like for you all to take away is that it's okay to take care of yourself. And I say this not only for uh, Black women or women in general, because we oftentimes, across the board, we put ourselves at the bottom of this hierarchy, not recognizing that we need to be at the top of the hierarchy of care. If we aren't at our very best, how do we expect our partners to be? How do we support our partners? How do we support our children? How do we support our household? So it's not selfish. It's about your health. It's a life and death for most of us. And that's why, as women, we oftentimes we get all of these autoimmune diseases because we're holding on to stress. We're not expressing ourselves. I would invite you to go to our website and sign up for some of our free offerings and get a flavor of what we do with ZOLA. It is so important that you take the time, you carve out the time. Just as Sabrina said, schedule the time, join a ZOLA cohort, and begin to explore those things that you may not have given yourself permission to talk about. We want to give you permission to talk about it in the way that works for you, in the way that feels comfortable for you. There's no right or wrong, as I said before, in where you begin. I just want you to begin. And like I say, there's so many communities and situations that for generations, generations on top of generations, and we know that research says that generational trauma changes your DNA. So I say, let's start now. Contact me, email me, come to the website. There's a space for you to contact me on the website. So just join us because we need my goal, Zola circles in every neighborhood globally, because there's not one person on the face of this earth that has not experienced loss, trauma, grief, or a major transition in their life. And we just need each other to help us through that. Not to mention the external noise that we are hearing globally about what is happening politically and health wise and all these pandemics and all of these things. We need spaces to talk about that. And the Zola method will help you do that. And the Zola experience is here for you.
Oh, I love that. Everyone, there you have it. Katurah Bryant, the ZOLAexperience.org is your resource for tonight. Remember, GEEK is an acronym for Giving Entrepreneurs Expert Knowledge. And that is what I'm here to do. So I want to bring my live streamers into the conversation and thank them so much for being here. I want to allow those that have any contacts, they want to connect and work with you. Make sure you do so. Thank you so much, Michelle, for tuning in and being a part of tonight's live broadcast. I also want to remind everyone about the Milestone Circles program because the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center does offer a fantastic program for entrepreneurs. And so while I pull that up, Katurah, why don't you share with our audience, clip that, what your experience was like
With
with
the
the
next,
Milestone Circles program?
uh, I was really kind of intimidated by it at first because it's a lot. It felt like a lot, but it really is not. They have so much support. A friend of mine turned me on to the NASDAQ entrepreneurial sister profit, as a matter of fact, and it was inspiring. I loved it because it gives you an international connection. There were people in my cohort. I think my cohort number was 413. It gives you, and there were people there from all over the world. So it gives you an international connection. And the support network that they have people that are experts in almost every field, from IT to wellness. They have mentorship program. That is how I connected with Sabrina. She is every every Tuesday at 11. I make a point to be there because there's always, always, always some gems to be shared by the sisters in the circle. It is wonderful. So if you have an opportunity to engage in the NASDAQ program, at first you're thinking, well, how can wellness be? I'm a nurse, I'm a family therapist. How is that an entrepreneurial thing? But healthcare is a business. And we all know that it's a business. And I have learned a great deal, and I'm still learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm still pushing myself and putting myself out there. And perhaps one day I will be a mentor like Sabrina, to have folks come to me and we can just chat, because it really is a sharing thing. We share. She learns things. We learn things from her. She learns things from us. It is really a beautiful experience.
It's powerful. It's very powerful. Very powerful. So, what I'd like to do is invite everyone. I'm going to share my screen. This is my live office hours. Okay. So, I want you all to know that you can connect with me, and that is my chat. Chew and check in every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you scan that QR code, it will allow you to register on my free Zoom room. And what I do is provide an hour of power, of mentorship for those that are going through their milestone journeys, whether they are a graduate or they are current in the program. This is a virtual networking safe space for entrepreneurs. And so I'm thrilled to bring that, curate that space as one of the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center cornerstone mentors. So I want you all to know that's how you can connect with me. You go ahead and scan that QR code, or you can just get in my DMs and let me know you want to attend Chat, Chew, and Check In every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Yes. Try
Thank you
not
so
to
much for sharing that, Katurah.
yes.
So I really want to just conclude by talking about your future plans, right? So what's next, Katurah? What can the people expect from the ZOLA
From the
experience?
whole experience. Well, we're going to be doing some programming in New Haven around Black Wall Street, and hopefully around Juneteenth celebration. We're talking about how to integrate there. We're doing a lot of work and wonderful work with the Therapy Fund Foundation in Seattle. So look for their, we'll be there quarterly. And our focus for the quarterly sessions this cycle is focusing on returning citizens from incarceration. So we've put together a series to help them and to address them using the ZOLA method. And the number one thing that I'm really excited about is collaborating with my son Nadir Abdul Salam, who is publishing a book that is going to be phenomenal. I'm keeping it under wraps because it's not quite out there yet. And I am working on collaborating with him because it's all interrelated to the healing of communities. And I will be uh, producing my first version of our uh, ZOLA experience, ZOLA method uh, training manual. And the other most exciting thing is we'll be working with a professor very soon to make us a what do they call those? A non-traditional evidence-based practice. Now that is going to be exciting, and you're going to help me because I'm going to need you to come in and do some sessions. So contact us, the ZOLAexperience.org.
Thank you so much, Katurah. Everyone, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from the West Coast. San Diego is in the building. We appreciate you all. Thank you for being here with us and supporting Katurah Bryant. The ZOLA experience is there for our community. It is a resource for us all. We want you to go to the ZOLAexperience.org and learn more about Katurah and the fabulous events, products, and services that she has available for you all.
Yes.
Katurah, it has been fantastic, and I appreciate you so much for being here.
Oh, and thank you so much for inviting me to be on this platform. It has been my honor, and I'm humbled by just the magnificence of your energy and the things that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give a virtual round of applause to Katurah. We always appreciate it. And we will be seeing you at the next live office hours, all right?
Yes, you will.
Yeah, and I'll
Peace
see
and
you in.
blessings, as we say in Zola.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Geek Talk, where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. And I am thrilled to share all of the audience comments, the feedback, the love. Thank you for your support, for sharing this broadcast. If this information resonates with you, or you know a colleague, a family member, just slide that podcast link in their inbox and let them know they need to connect with Sabrina Lowery, the tech evangelist, and Katurah Bryant with the ZOLA experience. Excuse me. So thank you so much. This has been fantastic. You all can absolutely tune in every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And I am your girl, Sabrina Lowery, the tech evangelist. And I would like to bring in a nice little welcome message from our sponsor of the evening with a nice brief little video. Let me pull this up and then share this with you all. Just a moment, everyone. I apologize. That should have been queued up. Cue it up, girl. Cue it up. I just pulled this up. I apologize, everyone. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pivot just a little bit, as I do when we have a little bit of technical difficulty, and I'm going to walk y'all through this thing just a little bit, right? So let's go to our share right here, and then we're going to just pull this up right here, and boom, here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful property that we have available for sale in Marietta, Georgia, exclusively listed by yours truly, the broker and founder of Legacy Realty and Management LLC. And what you can do is go to my website at Legacy Realty and Management.com to see the virtual tour about this complete full renovation project that we completed. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath with a 1-car garage on a beautiful lot located in Marietta, just minutes away from the historic Marietta Square, Dobbins Air Force Base, and those who may be working at Lockheed Martin. And if you need some additional assistance, whether it is this property or some other, to buy, to rent, I am at your service. Please contact me at 678 439 7075 and go to Legacy Realty and Management.com. Clip that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been absolutely exceptional, and it is always my mission to bring you exceptional content with extraordinary experts. This has been another celebration of Black history. I'm signing off for now. God bless. Good night.